What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and once again, I am sitting in this chair next to this dude. Actually, we're 6 feet apart. But anyway, this is...
For the greater?
Yeah!
That's different, yeah. You don't normally do that.
I was gonna say, like, this is... You're supposed to say Gershwin.
Oh, yeah, I'm Gershwin. My bad. I didn't understand.
It's okay. It's the 6 feet that's messing with us.
Yeah, and we're also not in the same time zone. This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Maverick Azure did. He asks, what would be an interesting culture to base a theme around a Space Marine chapter, besides the Mayans, because they need Xenos to build pyramids. They don't need Xenos.
They need aliens.
So what's cool about the Mayan-themed Space Marine chapter, which is called the Blood Jaguars? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that I haven't really read the story behind them, but I'm pretty sure that those pyramids and stuff are somehow connected to the old ones, because in the mythology, or not even the mythology, but the history of 40K, the old ones were very like lizard men-like. They were supposed to be the lizard men to the Warhammer fantasy realm kind of situation, but it never came to fruition, I guess. Yeah, they were the Slan,
the little like fat toad things.
Yeah, but anyways, what would be a good theme if you are creating your own Space Marine chapter? What would be a good theme for you to create a Space Marine chapter around?
I mean, there's a lot of themes throughout history that you can pull from. Egyptians, which you kind of see a little bit of that with the Thousand Sons back during the heresy, or before the heresy. I feel like any type of mythological pantheon, you could easily work with that. Have like your captains wearing like golden armor, or any type of armor to kind of reflect that. But another thing too is that you can go into video games. Maybe you want to have a whole Space Marine chapter based around like the Legend of Zelda, the Triforce, Link, all that stuff. That'd be pretty cool too.
Yeah, and it's kind of difficult to do historical themed chapters because they've already been done. If you look at like the Greeks, that's kind of what the Minotaurs are. If you look at the Romans, that's kind of what the Emperor Spears are, right? And then the Egyptian, like you were saying, Thousand Sons. And then there is like, it would be cool to have like an African themed, like the Zulu Nation type of Space Marine chapter. But I know there's fan art of an African themed Space Marine chapter. I don't know if it's canon or if it's a popular chapter yet. But yeah, and then when you get into like the Americas, it would be kind of cool. Other than Mayans, Aztecs, you still have like the Inca, and then you also have just like regular Native Americans, which I don't think there is a theme, right, for Native American Space Marine chapters.
The closest thing you get to that is like the rune priests, and like they talk to like the spirits and summon like woven spirits and stuff like that.
Yeah, I've recently been getting into. Well, I've been watching the walkthroughs of the God of War, the one where he's in.
The newest one.
Yeah, the
Norse mythology stuff.
That's really cool, but then again, like that's already been done with the Space Wolves. I'm pretty sure that there are other, like, and then even if you go a little further into like modern days, like you look at like the Crusades, that's kind of what the Black Templars are. That's kind of what the Dark Angels are. So it's difficult for historical figures. There hasn't been like an Asian themed, like
the White Scars.
Oh, but that's Mongolian. I'm saying like
Chinese.
Samurai.
Chinese.
Yeah, like or Japanese too, I guess. Those are kind of cool things. I used to have those old National Geographic books that you used to buy in the Scholastic book
fair
thing. Yeah, the book fair. So I would probably go, if I want to create a chapter based off history, I would go back to one of those books and pull it up, or go to this thing called the library.
What are that?
Yeah, well, you can't right now because of the quarantine, but you know. Eventually.
I mean, the thing that always like struck me with these like historical chapters is that Terra, like the history of Terra, I felt like it would have been lost by now. Like I wouldn't think that the Emperor would want a Space Marine chapter to know about like the Romans or Mongolians or anything like that. And then a lot of that was lost due to the warlords and like all these Age of Strife and all these things that have been plaguing Terra. That, I mean, yeah, it makes sense that like a chapter would, you know, maybe pick a pantheon or a god or something like that to follow, but how would they even know that?
Well, yeah, there is I understand like where you're coming from, but there is also an explanation in STCs, because STC was basically just a library within, like a digital library where you could just pull up things, and the actual STC would create whatever template you construct, but it also was full of knowledge,
Right.
and that knowledge was like, okay, so this is what this is the first time that humanity created corn. This was the first time that they created rice. So like the basic building materials for a colony, through the eyes of humanity. So I think that's how.
Right, but STCs aren't as like abundant.
Right, but they were so like so in situations where like, because it's the cultures that the Space Marines get their neophytes from, where this like theme comes from. So I think it's they don't know why they worship Aztec looking gods or Aztec themed things.
Quetzalcoatl and all that.
Yeah, they just do. Partly because it was the STC that kind of planted the seed. Same thing. So kind of like when you look at night worlds. Night worlds are feudal worlds, and they're very like during the Renaissance and during like the Dark Age of wait, what is it called? Like after the Roman Empire, and it was just like a bunch of Europeans fighting each other. No. Well, the Dark Ages, I think. Yeah. So that
Middle Ages.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that Middle Earth? Is that Lord of the Rings? But then that whole thing, that idea, I think that, so I do think that it is like STCs that planted the seed of these nations, maybe. Because that's the thing about 40K, and I saw this in another YouTuber's video. He's I forget who it is, but somebody, and I only saw the thumbnail and the name, but it said like you can never retcon 40K, and that's right. Like it's true. Like there was a commenter one time told me about the Necrons and how the old Necron lore made it seem like they were all robotic, like mindless creatures,
automatrons.
But now we're getting the Silent King back, and now we're getting all these Necron lords, and they have their own autonomy. And the explanation was, it's not that it was just retcon, it's just that the Imperium has learned more through the years of just interacting with these, Necrons, the Xenos. So kind of that same thing, where we could just explain it and be like, well, I mean, they're themes that we as normal people create for our miniatures, but there is also a lore aspect to it in the STCs, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I learned something today.
What did you base your Lost Legion on? Is there a specific...
Oh, I bounced a lot of things around. I had where the Primarch originated, there was like a kind of like a old scripture or like a legend that states that like the sun and like stars and all this is going to pick like the chosen one and all this kind of stuff. And then I thought, well, that's cool, but like what are they going to specialize in terms of tactics and warfare? And I thought, oh, so I'm going to make them psychically powerful, and they're going to get their powers from like the cosmic energies and stuff like that. And slowly, I would keep pieces of this. I would take pieces out. I'd read stuff about astronomy, read stuff about certain cultures and religions that prayed to the stars or something like that. And I just kind of pieced everything together.
So it's a conglomeration of just a bunch of
it's not one
things.
Specific thing. It's like everything. Yeah. And I tried to make it tie into like the lore of 40K during that time. And in my opinion, it makes sense. Let me know what you guys think, because I do have a playlist for that. It's titled Codex Celestial Suns.
Yeah. Next question.
This one is by Dean McKenzie. So where are the Primaris Marines for the Traitor Legions? Wouldn't they be frozen, sitting alongside their brothers? As far as I know...
Or the what?
The Primaris Marines for the Traitor Legions.
Oh, okay.
Because I thought Call did this...
For all of them?
Yeah, all of them. So it would make sense that there's still legions that haven't been awoken.
And I think the reason for that is that Belisarius Call understood that after the second founding, there was a lot of foundings where the chapter master and the gene seed that they used for that specific successor chapter was actually like a traitor legion. Kind of like the Carcharodons, I feel like are world eaters. Because of the way that they fight, the way that they like just organize and stuff like that. Either that or Night Lords. I can't, it kind of bounces around. But I think I think Belisarius Call understood that. And GW doesn't want to tell us that because it gives us that freedom to like create our own chapters based off of.
Yeah. Like if you created your own Carcharodons and you're like theming them as like loyalists, and then it finds out no, they were actually like Night Lord gene seeds, like, so that kind of messes with the lore.
You're right. But that's what's cool.
You're cool.
Thank you. And where are they? They're probably within the same. Like they are just chapters now. They're out and about. Next question. This one comes from Jomel Apostle. Is there a way that the Webway can be complete in the current timeline? The Webway project, every time we say no, GW proves us wrong. We said that the Primarchs wouldn't come back, and then they brought back Gilliman and the two traitors.
Yeah. We
said the Silent King would never come back. Now we have the Silent King coming back. So I'm going to say, yes, there is a way to fix the Webway. What that is I don't know. Right?
Of course. I mean,
we always get it wrong.
Yeah.
Next question.
This one is by Giovanni Bini. Will love and kindness ever spread in Camera?
No. They feed off of pain. If they don't, Slaanesh consumes their souls. They're kind of like tied down.
Yeah.
It's like
which they like that.
They like whips and chains.
It excites them. This one is by Captain Locke. Who's the biggest simp in 40K?
Lorgar.
He simps the Emperor?
He simps everybody. And then he gets found out and he gets beat up. But then at the end of the day, he is the winner after all, right?
That's true. Simps are always the winner at the end of the day.
Kind of.
Even after you spent millions of dollars trying to get that e-girl to be your girlfriend.
And now she is, but she also has a fans-only page.
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans, sorry. Yeah. I'm dyslexic. Next question.
This one's by Brian B., brother to Bridget B. When the Men of Iron rebelled, was it because of chaos, or was it because they knew humanity was creating uncontrollable psychers and they needed to be eliminated?
A little bit of both.
It's like when you make any type of recipe, you always got to put a little bit of both. Whatever
Sugar
that
and
may
salt?
Cumin?
Cumin? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you should put cumin in a baked good, though.
Just a little bit.
No, if you're making rice, sure, put cumin in there.
Yeah, banana bread and cumin? No.
I wouldn't put cumin in banana bread, no. That's what, I mean, yeah.
But yeah, the Men of Iron, I don't know, that they're... I felt like if there was a Men of Iron that we could speak to currently, which we can.
There is.
Yeah. In the, was it the Black Fortress?
Yep. Blackstone Fortress.
There you go, Blackstone. I think that he would have a lot to say, but at the same time, not a lot.
No, he'd be like, beep, boop, boop, bop, ba-dup.
Was that how you pronounce Elon Musk's child's name?
It's actually Zaya. Right?
Sure.
What's the first letter?
It's like A-E-A-12, something like that. Or X-A-E, something like that.
I think it's Zaya. I think you pronounce it Zaya. 1275.
10010111101.
He is for sure like the precursor to the Martian what is it called? The
AdMech.
But the worship, the Imperial, no, what is it called?
The Amnesiah?
Yeah. He is worshiping the Amnesiah. You can tell in the way that he talks. He speaks in binary.
So what would that make Joe Rogan?
Gay? No. He's pretty cool. I can see. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm not saying gays aren't cool. I could see Joe Rogan being secretly like the Emperor. You could disguise yourself. Why wouldn't you want to disguise yourself as Joe Rogan from Fear Factor?
When he had hair.
Yeah.
Did we answer that question?
What was the question? Was Joe Rogan the God Emperor?
I think so.
Yes.
When the Men of Iron rebelled, was it because of chaos?
Oh, a little bit of both. Because there was also this plague, this basically virus that went around and infected them, and it was tainted by chaos, which is where you get the ominous. I always forget their names.
Ominous Omar?
No, not ominous Omar. There's a specific type of sentient creature that is outlawed by the Emperor, and the Dark Mechanicus created it during the Horus Heresy, and it just wrecked through a bunch of Space Marines. On Mars. It even destroyed a couple Titans.
Oh.
I forget what it's called, though. I wish I could remember. I always forget. But yeah. That is a representation of a virus that has infiltrated the minds of a robot. As I stutter. Is that a stutter? Or was that just me trying to be stupid?
Probably both.
Next question.
This one is by Grant Patterson. Are we really trying to say that the Eldar Farseers didn't know about the Emperor's work, aka the Webway?
They did, but you got to remember that they are also prognosticators, so they knew what was up.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, keep building that. Your son's going to come and break it.
Yeah. At the same time, they saw themselves as better than any human. So they're looking at like the Emperor working on the Webway as like a toddler trying to build with blocks.
Right.
Trying to make a computer out of those blocks.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, boy, sit down.
Mm-hmm. What if the Emperor was that big baby on TikTok?
That's scary. I don't like that, baby. That gives me nightmares. Next question comes from Marky00. Which Primarch banged the most chicks? That's a tough one.
Fulgrim.
You think so?
Well, I don't know about chicks, but Fulgrim.
So he banged him?
He banged the most.
Sure, we'll go with Fulgrim.
That's why he's my favorite out of all the traitors.
Because he bangs?
Mm-hmm. He bangs.
That's old.
That is really old. Was that Ricky Martin?
No, that was that little Asian boy.
From American Idol, right?
The first season, I think.
But he was singing a song from
Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin.
Yeah. Next question comes from Ties van Pinsteren. Why aren't the Primarchs War Masters?
Because there can only be one.
And that was completely destroyed by Horus.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like we can never, ever, ever have that little mustache that just grows right here.
Oh, they're going to say Führer. Like if somebody says...
Oh, you said that last time. Yeah. Führer, same thing.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, they used it in Full Metal Alchemist. But I guess it was like a way to showcase that, oh, he's a Führer. He's got to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
It kind of was.
And you know what? I shouldn't say ever. Because I think in the future, this is going to, like, get watered down.
You're saying time washes away evil.
Oh, for sure. Because think of all, like, the atrocities the Roman Empire did. And now we have crossing the Rubicon. And we have, like, the Primaris Marines. And then we have Caldor Drago. And what is it called? The Triumvirate.
Mm-hmm.
All of those are references to, like, pretty horrific events in Roman society. Like, people died.
Not just
Thousands
that.
of people died.
The freaking Grey Knights. I think it was 5th edition. They had a psychic power called Holocaust.
Yeah. So... eventually it will go away.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? We're just a YouTube channel, man. Why are you asking us?
But yeah, I feel like it's just the atrocities of the past get overwritten by newer atrocities, and that's what people focus on. And eventually, after generations and generations, it kind of gets washed away.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what libraries are for. But we can't go to them now, so.
Because of the coronavirus. The coronavirus is the ultimate... destroyer of man, which is why protesters are trying to fight them by protesting.
Mm-hmm. This one's by Buck Hedges, and this is probably the most philosophical and hardest question we've ever had to answer in any Greater Wall. Why do you have a shoe on the table behind you?
So now it's still on the table, but this table is folded up. So those shoes were created. Because I always wear Air Forces. And
Black Air Forces.
Yeah, and those are Black Air Forces that they painted the Greater Wall on. And then they have a Space Marine, an Ultramarine, and then they have an Orc. So that's why. I just wanted to show. I don't know if you were able to see it.
You can kind of see it. Like if you pause it and zoom in a little bit, you can see it.
Mm-hmm. If you got... Oh, I can't... We can't really do that anymore, right? We don't have a P.O. box.
Oh, yeah.
Next question.
HU Instinct. Why do you think that the lore in 40K is so captivating? Do you ever find yourself explaining the lore to others difficult with it being so awesomely absurd? Yes. So whenever somebody finds out that, like, we do YouTube and we talk about Warhammer, like, whenever they click on a video, they say it's like they're watching something in a different language. Like, they have no core to base anything off of.
Right.
It's like somebody asks you, oh, how does a space marine survive in space? Or what's this Xenos? And like, when you say these words to people who don't know anything about 40K, it's like, what? Like, Marines? Xenos? What's that?
Yeah, we've kind of jumped down a rabbit hole that we will probably never be able to get out of. We are the living, breathing example of a 40K fan. Minus completing an army fully painted, because I probably never paint a full army. What was the question?
Like, how is it, like, about the lore, 40K lore? Like, why is it so captivating? And
also because it's very vague. Mm-hmm. So you fill in the blanks. Right. Whenever you have a situation where you can fill in the blanks, you automatically create something better than what it actually is.
Yeah, what the author could do.
So that's why I like paintings and stuff. Like, a painting is worth 1,000 words or whatever. Kind of like the same situation. If you stare long enough to a blank page, it tells you something. I mean, it's just blank, but yeah. Which is actually something that I should consider while I'm building my next D&D thing.
Just stare at a blank piece of paper until it comes to you.
No, be vague and let you guys fill in blanks.
That
like
might be
my players.
Yeah, that might be a really cool thing to try.
Like, be sandboxy, but at the same time not too sandboxy, if you know what I mean. But yeah.
Yeah, 40K lore is really cool like that, because you have all these epic battles, but then, like, when it really comes down to it, it's like, wait, what do I really know?
What does life even mean?
Yeah, it's like, oh, Gilliman got sliced in the throat by a poison blade. He should be dead. 30 years later, he's out here still fighting.
Yeah. You know what I think about a lot, especially when I'm under the influence? What's going to happen to all my miniatures when I'm dead? Like, this is a lot of time I'm investing. Is it just going to end up at a garage sale someday? That's going to suck. But yeah.
$2.
Yeah. Yeah, my heart. I'm dead already.
Yeah.
But that's for the Emperor to decide. Those are the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, comment down below. Thank you guys so much for asking these questions. We'll try to get through them a little bit faster. Sometimes we go off onto a tangent. But it will get better.
Mm-hmm. I mean, as long as we don't go off into sine or cosine, we should be good. Tangents, all right.
Because that's infinite, right?
Sure. I haven't been in school in how many years? This is the Sound Alchemist, and we are out of here.
Oh, if you could put my freedom first in